Hello students, today we are starting Civics chapter 4 Understanding Laws. Dear students, before we start this chapter, let's see some important terms used in this chapter. Number 1, arbitrary. This term already you learn in first chapter. Meaning of arbitrary, not seeming to be based on any reason or plan and sometimes seeming unfair. Means without any trial, any court trial, if something is rule, that is arbitrary. That is given in arbitrary rule also. Second term is the same. The term arbitrary rule describes the course of action or a decision that is not based on reason or judgment but on a personal will or discretion without regard to rules or standards. An arbitrary decision is one made without regard for the facts and circumstances presented, and it cannot disregard of the evidence. Third important term is sedition. Anything that the government might consider as a stirring up resistance or rebellion against it. And fourth, this is a very important term for this chapter that you will learn, rule of law. All laws apply equally to all. So students, you keep in mind all this term. While explaining and starting this chapter, you will come to know about all these terms. So better you get proper understanding. So let's start this chapter. Hello everyone, this is Bhavna Rathod. Welcome you all in civics classes. In previous class, chapter 3, you learn about the functions of the parliament. And one of the important function of the parliament that you learn, that was law making. And at that time I told you that in next chapter we will learn this topic in detail. So this is chapter 4, understanding law. You must heard about the different laws, rules and regulation. You may be familiar with some laws such as those that specify the age of marriage. Suppose marriage in India, we are discussing all this point in the context of India. In India, there is a specific age of marriage, right? For girl it is 18 and for boy it is 21. The age at which person can vote, that is 18 or above. And perhaps even the laws dealing with buying and selling of property. So whatever work you want to do, you have to follow rules and regulation and laws. We now know that the parliament is in charge of making laws. Do these laws apply to everyone? Right? So in this chapter we will learn all these facts. All these laws, what we are seeing around us is applicable to all. Each and everyone has to follow the law. How do new laws come into being? Could there be laws that are unpopular or controversial? Right? You feel some strange that laws can be unpopular, controversial. Yes, there are laws which are unpopular, which face so many controversies also. What should we as a citizen do under such circumstances? Right? As a citizen of independent country, democratic country, what can we do? So all about law, making of law, and how can we as a citizen do something for this type of circumstances, that you learn in this chapter. With the help of one story also, they will make us understand that how laws comes into practice. So these are the main topics of this chapter. So let us start this chapter. First, very important topic here it is given, do laws apply to all? Right? When there is a question of making of law, then in context for whom these laws are there, right? So the question is, do laws apply to all? Read the following situation and answer the question that follow. A government official helped his son go into hiding because his son has been given a 10 years jail sentence by a district court for a crime that he has committed. Right? You understand this case? In a government official's help his son go into hiding. Right? Government official is helping his son to hiding because court has given him 10 years jail. Right? Do you think that the government official's actions were right? Right? Because he is politically or financially powerful, do you think that what action he did is right? Should his son be exempt from the law just because his father is economically and politically powerful? Obviously, when we think about this, we'll say, no, it is not right, it is not fair. The above is a clear case of violation of law, right? Law is there. If you have committed some crime, then there is a penalty, there is a fine, there is a punishment. But if because of some power, if you are violating law, that is you are not following law. As you read in Unit 1, member of the Constituent Assembly were agreed there should be no arbitrary exercise of power. Now, arbitrary exercise means what? Right? In that chapter also you learn arbitrary exercise of power means forcefully, without any kind of thinking, without anything, forcefully laws are applied. That is arbitrary exercise of power in independent India. Means actually in our constitution on paper there is a no provision for arbitrary exercise of power. Therefore institute several provisions in constitution that would establish the rule of law. This is very important term, rule of law. The most important of these was that all persons in independent India are equal before the law. Right? What is the simple meaning of rule of law? That all persons in independent India are equal before the law. Now description of this important term is given. The law cannot discriminate between persons on the basis of their religion, caste or gender. From first chapter you are learning, right? Not only from this class but in previous classes also you learn that our constitution cannot discriminate between persons on the basis of their religion, caste and gender. All persons are equal. What the rule of law means is that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above the law. That is the rule of law, right? All laws apply equally to all the citizens, whether he or she is a president or servant or a normal citizen. Neither a government official, nor a wealthy person, nor even the president of the country is above the law. All are below the law. All are equal in front of the law. Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment as well as process through which the guilt of the person has to be established. But was it always like this? Right? On paper it is like this, right? All people are equal in front of law. Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment and the process is also there. If person is found guilty, then there is a punishment. But was it always like this? Means after independence we have adopted the democracy and rules and regulation we frame according to our constitution, our circumstances. But before, how was the situation? Right? Yes, you are thinking right. I am talking about the British period and before that also. In ancient India, there were innumerable and often overlapping local laws. Right? Actually, at that time, India was not considered as a sovereign rule. Right? Country was divided into several societies. Each societies were having their own rules and regulation. Different communities enjoy different degrees of autonomy in administering these laws. Means whatever according to their society. I am talking about ancient period. Right? So country was divided into different communities and each and every communities were having their own rules and regulation. According to their group member, according to their fellow members, they were having their rules and regulation. And there was on the head, there was a chief or leader who was implementing rules and regulation. Different communities enjoy different degrees of autonomy in administering these laws. Among their own, in some cases, the punishment that two persons received for the same crime varied depending on their caste backgrounds, with lower caste being more harshly penalized. This slowly began to change as this system of law began to further evolve during the colonial period. Right? Before colonial period, that caste system was prevailing very harshly. Right? So suppose same kind of punishments, same kind of crime is there, but punishment would be different. If lower caste people has done any crime, then punishment would be more severe, right? Harshly penalized. And if upper caste or rich person has done something, then he would be not given that much punishment. They slowly began to change as this system of law began to further evolve during the colonial period. Then after Mughal Empire, Britishers came. They brought their own laws, rules and regulation in our country. They established their system, law system in our country. It is often believed that it was the British colonialists who introduced the rule of law in India, right? But keep in mind that was only on paper. British colonialists means British officers who introduced the rule of law, means all laws are equally applicable to all. They established this thing in India. Historians have disputed this claim on several grounds, right? But historians were not agree that British has established rule of law in India, because at their time, in colonial period, rules were not equally applicable to all the citizens, all the people, right? They were having discriminations, white people, black people. They were having some kind of discriminations related to British officials and related to Indian people. So, historians have disputed this claim on several grounds, two of which include first, that colonial law was arbitrary. Right? I just explained you the meaning of arbitrary. Colonial was considered as arbitrary, and second, that the Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in British India. Right? Means historians are having so many reasons they were not accepting that British colonialists has introduced rule of law in India. Why? Most of the things they have accepted this too. Number one, colonial was considered as arbitrary, right? According to their wish, they were applying laws. And second, Indian nationalists played a very important role in development of the legal sphere in India. One example of arbitrariness that continued to exist as a part of British law is the Sedition Act of 1870. Right? What is Sedition Act? You can easily find in the definition part. I am just explaining. Sedition means forcefully apply without any kind of notice, any kind of court statement, person is punished. That is Sedition Act of 1970. The idea of sedition was very broadly understood within this act. Any person protesting or criticizing the British government could be arrested without due trial. Right? Actually, what was the rule British has adopted, that if a person has done any crime, then first he was trial in court and then he would be arrested and put in prison. But if any person, and especially Indian, if they are protesting or criticizing the British government, without any kind of trial, they would be arrested and put in prison. So this type of law is considered as a Sedition Act, right? Means without court trial, court permission, persons are arrested. That was Sedition Act. Second, Indian nationalists began protesting and criticizing this arbitrary use of authority by the British. Right? When in around 18th century, when English education spread, people started learning. At that time, Indian nationalists, they protest against this arbitrary authority of British. They also began fighting for greater equality and wanted to change the idea of law from a set of rules that they were forced to obey. Means they were not happy and they were not agreeing that how can Britishers adopted this Sedition Act, how can they use the power of arbitrary to law as including idea of justice. By the end of the 19th century, the Indian legal professional also began emerging and demanded respect in colonial courts. It gradually, when they started around at the end of 19th century, they asked for the respect in colonial courts also. They fought for the Indian people. They began to use law to defend the legal rights of Indians. Indian judges also began to play a greater role in making decisions. No doubt there were very handful of the people those who were getting this post, but those who got, they also play a greater role in making decisions. Therefore, there were several ways in which Indians plays a major role in the evolution of the rule of law during the colonial period. So, all of these descriptions, what they are telling that here it is often believed that Yes, now you can see. It is often believed that it was the British colonialists introduced the rule of law in India, right? But Indian people, historians did not agree of this statement. They have given two reasons. Number one, colonial law was arbitrary law, arbitrary rule, and second, Indian nationalists play a very important role to develop justice in India. So this explanation is about this, that why colonial rule was not considered as a rule of law. Okay, hope I make it clear. This was just introductory part of this chapter, understanding the law. After independence, when we got our constitution, then for each and every thing, each and every field, suppose if you want to buy a property, then also you have to follow rules and regulation. If you want to cast a vote, then also there are laws. If you want to get something new, then also you have to follow rules and regulation, right? If you want to move out, you want to buy vehicle, you want to buy house, there are rules and regulation to be followed. And now after independence, we can say that there is a rule of law. What further is there, we will discuss in next class. Hope I make this introduction part clear. You are learning about understanding the law. Okay students, we'll meet in next class with further topics.